Good afternoon, honorable House leaders, esteemed members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the House of Representatives, and we thank everyone for taking the time to join us for today's press conference. I'm Ryan Ponce Pacpaco, your moderator. At this point, allow me to acknowledge the 11 members of the House Prosecution Panel, led by Lead Prosecutor, House Committee on Justice Chairperson, Attorney Gerbil Jinky Betrix Luistro Batangas, House Committee on Public Accounts Chairman Terry L. Redon of Bicol Saro Party List, Deputy Majority Leader Rodrigo Rods L. Gutierrez of One Rider Party List, House Committee on Justice Vice Chairperson and House Assistant Majority Leader Isabel Maria J. Zamora of San Juan, House Senior Deputy Majority Leader Lawrence Defensor of Iloilo, House Assistant Minority Leader Jose Manuel Shell I. Jokno, former Justice Secretary and former Senator turned House Senior Deputy Minority Leader Leila M. De Lima of Mamamayang Liberal Party List. Well, of course, House Deputy Minority Leader Kaka J. Bagao of Dinagat Island, who is currently in her district. House Committee of Dangerous Drugs Chairman Jonathan Kit Flores of Bukidnon. House Committee on Public Information Chairman Lordan G. Suwan of Cagayan de Oro City, and House Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability Chairman Joel Artua of Manila. To formally start the press briefing, may we now hear first the opening remarks of Lead Prosecutor Chairperson Jinky Luistro. Ma'am, you may proceed po.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. This is actually our first appearance as members of the prosecution panel of the House of Representatives. We would like to update our beloved countrymen that the panel of prosecutors are ready to appear before the impeachment court. As we have witnessed yesterday, the impeachment court already convened, and we commend the action of the Senate of the Philippines for responding to the mandate of the Constitution. Nevertheless, let us all be reminded that what is mandated to be forthwith is not only the convening, it is the trial that is mandated to be forthwith. We therefore look forward that after the pre-trial, we will immediately proceed to the presentation of witnesses, presentation of evidence, and consequently to the judgment. By judgment, it's only either acquittal or conviction. We are currently preparing already for the forthcoming pre-trial and trial of these articles of impeachment. And I wish to share with you the teams that we have created. You will remember that the articles are summarized into 4. Article 1 pertains to threats and destabilization. No. This is actually just a list of the assignment per article that was given to the 11 prosecutors. But this does not necessarily follow the way it was presented in the articles of impeachment. And this does not follow as well the sequence by which the same will be presented. This is a matter which is still being discussed. But nevertheless, we wish to share with you that for threats and destabilization, this is led by our colleague, our STML, Kong Lawrence Defensor. And with Kong Lawrence Defensor as members of this article or team. We have Kong Laila de Lima, Kong Bel Zamora, and this representation. Another article is bribery. And this article is being led by Congressman Joel Chua. Joining him in the article of bribery are Congressman Rog Gutierrez, Congresswoman Kakabag-Aw, and Congresswoman Bel Zamora. Another article is unexplained wealth. This article is being led by Congressman Terry Ridon. And with him are the following: Congressman Chel Jokno, Congressman Kakabag-Aw, Congressman Rog Gutierrez. This representation, Congressman Joel Chua, Congresswoman Laila de Lima, Congressman Lorden Suwan, and finally, Congressman Jonathan Keith Flores. The fourth article is confidential fund. This is to be led by this representation. And with me in this team are the following: Congressman Joel Chua, Congressman Lawrence Defensor, Congressman Rog Gutierrez, Congressman Lorden Suwan, Congressman Jonathan Keith Flores, Congressman Chel Jokno, and Congressman Terry Ridon. Like what I have said, this is the assignment so far with respect to the 4 articles of impeachment as to the participation which the 11 prosecutors will be handling. Nevertheless, as we continue to prepare, there can be some adjustments, but rest assured that the 11 prosecutors are already on its full swing of preparation. So come the pre-trial and the trial, you will expect that the 11 prosecutors will be there to appear before the impeachment court. So for the opening statement, that is quite short, but of course, the 11 prosecutors, the 10, are ready to answer your questions. Ryan?
Thank you, ma'am. To open the media question, we will call on Marian Enriquez of TV5 for today's first question.
Good afternoon po. Since may hatian na po tayo, how confident po yung prosecution panel in proving the allegations po of the articles of impeachment? Siguro per article kung sino yung lead can share po. Paano po kayo naghahanda and how confident are you to share your evidence?
We're very confident with the evidence that we have. We have been prepared with this since last year, and with a vote of confidence of 255 members of Congress and 257 members of Congress, and the evidence being very obvious and very clear, it speaks for itself. We have more evidence to support the same, and we have witnesses to present, and we are certain that once the evidence is presented in the Senate impeachment court, we can secure a conviction even for this article alone.
Okay, on unexplained wealth, no, nakita naman na po natin yung body of evidence during the course of the House Committee on Justice proceedings. We don't want to discuss further yung po mga detalye as before because we are within the impeachment trial process already. But yung po mga dagdag na mga ebidensya which did not get disclosed during the course of the committee proceedings, we will seek to present it during trial. Kasama po dyan yung unsealing of the BIR box. Kasama din po dito yung pagbubukas ng pong bank accounts ng pong mag-asawang Duterte Carpio. So, given the entirety of the body of evidence that we had seen, tingin ko naman po, on unexplained wealth pa lang po, we can secure a conviction of the Vice President.
With respect to the articles regarding the bribery, ito naman po ay nakita na natin during the committee hearing of the good government during the 19th Congress. And ito rin po yung magiging presentation natin. But of course, since the impeachment court had already convened, we are barred from discussing about the merits. But rest assured, everything will be according to kung ano man yung plan tsaka legal strategies na amin pong gagawin. Salamat po.
For confidential fund, we wish to express our confidence in proving this article, establishing the guilt of the respondent. We have seen the evidence already. As a matter of fact, as early as during the 19th Congress, during the inquiry in aid of legislation of the Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability, you will recall the testimony that was presented by PSA about the fictitious names appearing in the documents evidencing payment. You will remember also the testimony of the NBI about the signatures, which appear to have been authored by only few number of persons. So we can also include the notices of disallowance recently issued by the COA, as well as the denial of the appeal of the respondent vice president, which means they are affirming the 73 million notice of disallowance for 2022. So, like what Kong Joel Chua already mentioned and Kong Terry Ridon, we cannot discuss anymore on the merits because we have entered our appearance already as public prosecutors yesterday, and we are bound by the prohibition which is included in the Senate rules on impeachment. Nonetheless, we are reiterating our confidence in establishing and proving these 4 articles of impeachment.
Last na lang po from my end.
Go ahead.
Chair, can you also divulge na po kung pwede kung sino yung mga private prosecutors, napiling mga spokesperson, impeachment managers, and also you mentioned during your opening statement, let us all be reminded that yung forthwith, it's not only the convening, it is the trial that is mandated. May fears po ba, may concerns po ba tayo na harangin pa muli yung trial?
I am actually very positive about the impeachment court because they responded already to the mandate of convening forthwith. Nevertheless, we just want to remind our beloved countrymen that what is being mandated by the Constitution is not only convening forthwith. What is mandated is trial forthwith. By trial, it means presentation of evidence, presentation of witnesses, which will lead to decision of either conviction or acquittal. We are positive and we look forward that we will be appearing during the pre-trial and thereafter the trial, where we will be presenting all the evidence for the prosecution. Well, I understand that Rene Co already mentioned publicly that she's one of the talking heads. And I wish to include the name of Congressman Zia Adjong. Congressman Zia Adjong. So there are 2 of them who at this time will be speaking for the House of Representatives panel of prosecutors. Right now, we are calling them talking heads of the House of Representatives. We will see if later on we will be engaging a separate person to appear as the spokesperson for the panel of prosecutors. And then about the private prosecutors, we're still in the process of finalizing them. But as soon as we are done finalizing the list of private prosecutors, we will be sharing this publicly. About the impeachment manager, I cannot comment yet. We are just helping each other without any designation. But let's see if in the future we will come up with a person who will be designated formally as the impeachment manager.
Thank you. Are there any other comments from the House prosecutors? If none, we will recognize Jonathan Andal from GMA7. You may proceed.
Good afternoon po. Congressman Keith Flores, lahat po ng kasama nyo rito bumoto ng yes sa impeachment. Kayo lang po yung nag-abstain. Pero kayo po ay public prosecutor ngayon. Pwede po malaman ang dahilan, ano po ang reason, bakit kayo nag-abstain at bakit nyo rin po tinanggap na maging public prosecutor?
Well, being prosecutor is the collective wisdom of the members of Congress. No? So I was nominated and elected. And after that, I took on the role as public prosecutor.
Ano po yung reason, sir, kung bakit kayo nag-abstain? Pwede po malaman.
Well, there were personal and political reasons for abstaining, but it wasn't about the articles of impeachment.
Thank you, sir. Last question na. Ma'am, can you walk us through sa magiging sa proseso ng pre-trial stage? Ano ang mga mangyayari doon? Gaano katagal ang aabutin nito bago tumungo sa mismong trial?
Well, by pre-trial, what I can share with you is my experience in the ordinary criminal case, no? There will be stipulation of facts, there will be submission of the name of the witnesses, and submission of the documents to be presented. But we have to know yet as to what will be the rules of the impeachment court with respect to the conduct of the pre-trial. I hope that we will be given the opportunity as well to participate in coming up with these rules, which will govern the pre-trial of this impeachment proceeding.
Last na po. Yung mga private prosecutor na kukunin po ninyo, allowed po ba sila to conduct cross-examination? Ano po ang nasasabi sa rules?
Well, cross-examination is allowed every after direct examination of the witness, be it a witness of the prosecution or a witness of the defense. So to your question as to whether the public prosecutors are allowed, so long as they are under the direct control and supervision of the public prosecutors, private prosecutors are allowed.
Thank you. Let us now go to Lance Mexico of Newswatch. Lance?
Hello, good afternoon po. Siguro po first to Congresswoman Luistro or Prosecutor Luistro, may survey po na lumabas kamakailan na nagsasabi na public opinion is still yung preferred ng mga tao over evidence daw pagdating sa impeachment ni Vice President Sara Duterte. Sa inyo po bilang lead prosecutor, how will you convince not just the prosecutor, not just the judges, the senator judges, but also the public that there is enough reason to convict the vice president?
Evidence and public opinion are very much intertwined. If you will be able to present strong evidence, therefore you will be able to get a favorable public opinion. Both are significant for us to be able to establish the 4 articles of impeachment.
Right now po, siguro anyone can answer kung sino po yung gusto. Ano po yung biggest challenge na nakikita ng mga prosecutors sa paparating na impeachment trial? Anyone can answer po. Okay po. Sige, si Congressman Defensor.
One of the biggest challenges that we face is fake news, trolls na mali ang ikinakalat na balita, maling ebidensya ang binabarina sa utak ng ating mga kababayan. Ang fake news at trolls, dapat matigil na yan. And this impeachment is one of the biggest step that we can take for accountability to start in this country. Pero dapat ma-overcome din natin ang fake news dahil hindi natin maaabot ang katotohanan, hindi lang sa impeachment na to, but truth in everyday living kung hindi natin ma-overcome ang fake news at mga trolls na umaatake, hindi lang sa House of Representatives, but to truth itself.
Thank you, Kong. Siguro last na po on my end to Congresswoman Luistro. We are all aware po doon sa Senate leadership change nitong nakaraan. And hanggang ngayon po, medyo uncertain pa rin because 13-11 pa rin yung majority and minority. Is this something na concern po ang prosecutors? I mean, are you concerned with the current majority members or with the current lineup of senators? Especially dun sa majority ay kilala naman pong kaalyado talaga ni VP Sara at ng mga Dutertes.
Well, let us all be reminded that this is a constitutional duty that the public prosecutors are trying to fulfill. So regardless of who are in the majority and who are in the minority, the 11 prosecutors will be very much obliged to help establish these 4 articles of impeachment. We wish to express also our highest respect to all the senator judges. We understand that even they are responding to their constitutional duty. So we expect that we as public prosecutors will be responding to their mandate in the same way that the senator judges will be impartial and independent in hearing and resolving these articles of impeachment as what the Constitution mandates.
Thank you, Lance. Dwight De Leon of Rappler, go ahead with your questions.
Hello po, good afternoon. Balik lang po ako kay Congressman Keith Flores. If you may just expound kung ano po yung personal political reasons for not voting in favor of, or for basically not voting po sa impeachment, given that last year you also, if I'm not mistaken, you signed the impeachment case against the vice president, and does it undermine the optics of the prosecution team that one of the members didn't vote in favor of impeachment?
Well, again, as I said, it's personal political reasons. But it's not the first time that a public prosecutor was nominated and elected in the impeachment process as a public prosecutor. No, it happened before when a public prosecutor also did not vote for the articles of impeachment, but was nominated and elected by the House. Again, as I said, no, I yield to the collective wisdom of the members of the House when they elected me.
Is part of the reason, siguro po, based on consultation with constituents, did that play a role in why you didn't vote in favor of impeachment?
Well, yes, that played a factor of my decision on abstaining. But it wasn't because of the articles of impeachment. I could not, in good conscience, vote against the articles of impeachment because I was present all along when the Committee on Justice heard the evidence presented before.
When you say, sir, that your constituents played a role, is it because you consulted them and they had hesitations, they had reservations when it comes to the impeachment case?
Well, I think it cannot be denied that there are a lot of people in Mindanao who are actually for the vice president. So that playing a factor, yes, that played a factor also in my considerations whether to vote or not to vote. But also as far as maybe the trust and confidence of the members of the House, maybe because I was already a member of the impeachment prosecutors in the previous year, and my familiarity with the case being a vice chairperson of the Committee on Justice, that played a role in their decision in electing me as one.
Thank you po. And one final question on my end to Kong Jinking or to any other prosecutor. Isa po sa fino-float na scenario during this impeachment conversation is yung paano kung mag-resign si Vice President Sara sa kanyang pwesto. How will that affect the trial or will that effectively abort the trial? Ano po ang posisyon ng prosecution patungkol dito?
Before I answer the question, let me just formalize the designation of Congressman Zia Jong and Congresswoman Rene Go. They are not talking heads. They are House trial spokespersons. Congressman Zia Jong and Congresswoman Rene Go. To answer your question, this is my opinion, not the opinion of the 11 prosecutors. We have to remember that there are two principal penalties in case the respondent in an impeachment case is convicted. These two principal penalties are removal and perpetual disqualification. While resignation from office will render moot and academic the penalty of removal, it is my position that we need to continue the trial for the senator judges to be able to determine whether or not they will impose as well the penalty of perpetual disqualification. But that is my opinion. We haven't talked about this as 11 prosecutors of the HREP.
But is it an opinion shared by other members of the panel? Maybe Kong Shell?
Let's hear from them.
Yes, of course. That's a very valid observation made by our chair.
Sige po. Thank you po.
Thank you, Dwight. Rose Cas of UNTV is next.
Follow-up ko lang po sa issue ni VP Duterte dahil kahit minsan ay hindi po siya humarap sa pagdinig ng House Prosecution Panel. Pero kayo po, since inaasahan na po natin na magpo-proceed yung trial, ano po yung expectations niyo po sa respondent? Leila.
Alalahanin po natin that this is also due process for VP Sara. So, pagkakataon niya to. So, it's time for her to face and answer the accusations against her. Kung walang kasalanan, dapat walang iniiwasan o walang dapat iwasan. Wala rin dapat pagtakpan at hindi dapat ito hinaharang. So, well, I guess I heard from the news that the councils of VP Sara will be responding to the summons by filing the appropriate answer. So, pagkakataon niya to, this is due process for her.
Regarding naman po sa pagiging lead prosecutor niyo po, Kong Jervil, bukod po dun sa kayo po yung pangunahing tatanggap ng notices and other issuances from the Senate Impeachment Court, ano po yung significance ng inyo pong position as lead prosecutor?
Well, my understanding about my becoming the lead prosecutor is because I am the chairperson of the Justice Committee, which heard the impeachment complaints which were later on turned into the articles of impeachment. That was upon the hearing and all the proceeding before the Justice Committee. About my obligation as lead prosecutor, I need to support and help my colleagues, all the 10, 11 prosecutors, to be able to establish all these 4 articles of impeachment. I anticipate also that I will be delivering the opening statement as well as the closing statement. That is in my capacity as the lead prosecutor of the House of Representatives.
Alright, last on my part na lang po. Kung, kasi po dun po sa articles of impeachment, kapansin-pansin na yung 2 articles of impeachment, yung unexplained wealth at saka po yung misuse of confidential funds, meron pong 8 at 9 natututok na mga prosecutors. Ano pong wisdom behind that? Dahil ba yun sa bulk ng evidences or ng mga allegations dun po na nakapaloob dun sa articles of impeachment?
We should ask the lead prosecutor for these articles, Kong Terry Ridon for unexplained wealth.
Well, yun po unexplained wealth, ano po talaga ito, no? Masaklaw po talaga yung kaso po na ito. So, we will be deploying more prosecutors po for this particular aspect of the case. Kasi nakita niyo naman po in the course of the House Justice Committee proceedings, marami pong mga opisina, ahensya, at witnesses at dokumento pong pinag-uusapan dito. So, each and every prosecutor will be presenting an entirely different set of agencies, documents, and witnesses po. So this is in comparison to the other grounds kung saan I think the evidence, for example, for threats against the president, in which you have a smaller set of evidence which basically speaks for itself, no? So mas maliit po yung bilang po ng mga prosecutors po na deployed for this particular ground.
And for confidential fund, of course, the reason why there are a lot of prosecutors compared to the other grounds is because there are more evidence, mostly documentary, which will be presented for us to be able to establish the article of confidential fund. So that is the reason why there are more prosecutors, both in unexplained wealth and in confidential fund, compared to threats and destabilization and bribery.
Sorry, just to press on that, hindi naman po ibig sabihin na mahirap patunayan yung mga allegations na yan, kaya mas maraming deployed na prosecutors.
Not necessarily. The unexplained wealth and the confidential funds evidence are mostly documentary, voluminous documentary evidence, which reason we will be needing a lot of prosecutors to help us present this article of impeachment.
Thank you, Rose. Bibian Gulia of ABS-CBN2 is now recognized.
Kong Jervil, ano po ang stand ng House Prosecution? Tingin niyo po ba makakabuti kung dadalo si Vice President Sara Duterte sa trial sa Senado sitting as an impeachment court?
I wish to add to the answer of Kong Laila a while ago. In addition to that being part of her due process, this is likewise her constitutional duty. Let us remember the mandate of transparency and accountability pronounced in the Constitution, and I think the people are waiting for her answers. So, aligned to that accountability mandate, I believe she should attend and present her defense.
Thank you, Kong Keith Flores. Ano po ang pwede naming asahan sa inyo as prosecutor? Kasi nga, you abstained. I know you mentioned some reasons earlier, pero hindi po ba sort of requirement sa among prosecutors na naniniwala sa articles of impeachment na kanilang dedepensahan at ipepresenta sa Senado?
That's why I said earlier that I could not in good conscience vote against the articles of impeachment because nakita naman natin yung evidence that was presented before the Committee on Justice and it was unrefuted by the Vice President because she did not counter it at all. No? So, for me, parang it's easy. It's an easy decision. No? I'm taking on the role because not only was I elected, but because I also saw what was presented before the Committee on Justice.
Just to speak for the entirety of the panel, I don't think we have any doubt on the confidence, integrity, and expertise of Congressman Flores to take on the role of a public prosecutor. To be clear, the choice and election of the public prosecutor is based on their syempre karanasan po bilang lingkod bayan at karanasan din po bilang mga abogado. At tingin naman po namin ay competent si Congressman Flores to take on the role as a public prosecutor.
And I would like to thank Kong Terry for that.
Last na lang, Kong Jervil, paano po, how did we arrive at the decision dun sa hatian po ng articles of impeachment?
Well, of course, we consider the familiarity of the prosecutors to the article. We have to remember that for bribery and confidential fund, these were the subject matters of the investigation of the Committee on Good Government back in the 19th Congress, no? As a matter of fact, for threats and destabilization, with the permission of the concerned prosecutors, these are the same assignments that they have during the first impeachment back in 19th Congress. I am referring, of course, to our lead prosecutor, Kong Noy Defensor, and Congresswoman Bel Zamora. So the first consideration is the familiarity to the article, and the second consideration is the choice of the public prosecutors where they wanted to be assigned.
Thank you, Bibian. Next is Isa Bendaño Mali of GMA DCWB.
Hello po, magandang hapon po. Kanina po nabanggit po ni Senior Deputy Majority Leader Lawrence Defensor na isa sa mga hamon po sa House Prosecution Team, yung fake news, yung trolls. Pero kayo po, mga members po ng prosecution team, handa rin po ba kayo na kayo po yung magiging biktima ng fake news, ng trolls, uungkatin po yung inyong mga kasaysayan? Ano pong masasabi niyo? Thank you po.
Kung ako po ang tatanungin niyo, sanay na po ako niyan. So hindi na po uubra yan. Thank you.
Sanay na kaming lahat. Gusto lang naming magtulong-tulong tayo para mapaunawaan ang mga kapwa nating Pilipino na dapat manaig sana ang katotohanan, lalo na't pinapanood ito ng ating mga anak, ng mga pamilya araw-araw. At hindi pwedeng mali na balita ang lumalabas sa social media na nababasa at napapanood. This will be a fight for the truth as well as a fight for accountability and a fight for justice, not only in this impeachment, but also in our quest, together with the mainstream media, to seek the truth and honesty in everything that we do.
May I just add to the assignment of articles? Kong Laila de Lima is likewise assigned or included in the Team 4 Confidential Fund.
I wish to clarify. So tatlo po yung teams. I'm a member of 3 teams. The threats, unexplained wealth, and confidential funds. Thank you.
Thank you, Isa. You done with your questions? Okay. Linesca Panti of GMA Online. Please proceed.
Good afternoon po. For the record lang po, do you intend to present the BIR box as evidence for the impeachment trial? Tama po ba? Would that be correct?
Well, we will finalize po up until pre-trial. That decision will have to be made by that time. Pero that is one of the pieces of evidence kasi we had transmitted it to the Senate impeachment court, no? So we will make that final determination as to whether to unseal the BIR box.
As a follow-up na lang po, kasi we have been, I don't think there's doubt dun sa evidence given the 4 impeachment hearings, at least initially. Parang wala namang masyadong rebuttal on the quality of the evidence. But the question is, are you not worried that you will not be allowed to present evidence ultimately? Because I understand for every evidence that you want to present, you would need the approval of the Senate Impeachment Court for that. I'm just recalling our experience during the Corona impeachment trial. Are you not concerned that, like Kong Shell knows this, the second envelope happened during the Corona trial, evidence for the PAL case, PAL FASAP case, was not allowed by the Senate Impeachment Court to be presented. So do you have similar worries now that ultimately your evidence will not be allowed by the court to be, will not be allowed to be presented?
Well, that is the purpose of the pre-trial. We are supposed to submit the list of witnesses as well as the list of evidence which will be presented during the trial, presentation of the prosecution's evidence. Although I understand that if the evidence is not yet available during the pre-trial, so long as we can justify the same, it may be presented still before the impeachment court, but that will be subject to the approval, of course, of the impeachment court. Kong Noy?
Hindi kami nag-aalala na haharangin ang ebidensya naming ilalabas sa impeachment trial. Kung haharangin ang ebidensya namin, remember that we are not the ones in trial. Huhusgahan din ng bayan ang ating mga senator judges. And while we will give them utmost respect, siguradong ang pagtingin ng taong bayan sa isang impeachment court na hindi papayag na ilabas ang ebidensya ay makapagbabago ng damdamin ng mga Pilipino. Lalo na sa team ng depensa, kung hindi na kayo nagpakita, kung hindi na kayo sumipot, haharangin nyo pa din ang ebidensya. Hindi talaga maganda ito para sa isang ini-impeach na mataas na opisyal. So we're not worried. We're prepared to present our evidence. No matter what they will do, sila na ang maghusga sa amin. Igagalang namin ang ating impeachment court.
Madam Chair, may I add? Klarong-klaro naman po the decision on admissibility of evidence are made by the Senate as an impeachment court. But the discretion to present evidence kung ano pa yung ihahain namin na ebidensya ay nasa kamay ng prosecution. And the court cannot interfere with that discretion. Kaya sa simula pa lang kung gusto po namin na magtawag ng witness o kaya magpresenta ng mga dokumento, ay nasa sa prosecution po yon. Now, later on, how the Senate will evaluate that evidence or whether they will admit it will be subject, of course, to arguments and on both sides and then a decision by the court. Wala namang pinagkaiba yan sa regular na korte.
Dagdag ko lang, sana maintindihan din ng mga kababayan natin na hindi pwedeng harangin ng teknikalidad ang procedure sa isang impeachment court. Huwag po kayong maniniwala na may mga technicalities kasi ang isang impeachment trial at isang impeachment process, sinadya ng mga sumulat ng ating konstitusyon na dapat maging maluwag ang pag-interpret ng rules of procedure para mailabas lahat ng ebidensya at matimbang ito ng husto ng ating mga senator judges at ang sarili nilang konsyensya ang maghuhusga. Wala pong dapat mabigat na ebidensya na kailangan ng proof beyond reasonable doubt, but the quantum of evidence required to convict is simply the personal assessment of each senator judge whether a high public official should be removed or may stay in public office.
Madam Chair, if I may add. Thank you. Well, with all due respect sa ating mga kagalang-galang na senador, baka hindi lang kasi masyadong naunawaan ng ibang kababayan natin. Kasi kung titignan po natin yung pagpepresenta ng ebidensya, ang pagpepresenta po ng ebidensya, hindi po lahat ng ebidensya na ipipresente ninyo ay tatanggapin talaga. Kailangan unang-una yung purpose mo, patunayan mo yung relevancy at saka yung materiality ng ebidensya. So pagka hindi tumutog, walang relevance yung ebidensya na ipepresenta mo doon sa issue, hindi po talaga yun tatanggapin ng korte. Kaya ako po naniniwala, ganito din na magiging sukatan o parameters ng ating kagalang-galang ng mga senador at hindi rin naman namin kinu-question na nung nakaraan, lalong-lalo na po, ang nag-preside po dito ay ang kagalang-galang na Senator Juan Ponce Enrile na isang mahusay po na abogado.
Thank you, kagalang-galang na Joel Chua. Thank you.
I asked the question because of what happened last Congress na very clear po yung political alliance ng ibang senator judges. That's why I ask if there are concerns na baka ultimately hindi po kayo payagan. What happens then? What is the recourse? Do you conduct a press conference? How do you... because as Congressman Jokno said, discretion po kasi ng prosecution which evidence to present.
Siguro, we don't want to respond to hypotheticals at this point. Di ba? Kasi ang totoo naman po, we will have to fight for each and every piece of evidence when we reach that point. No? So, pero again, like what had been stated, we have absolute faith in our senator judges that they will look at each and every piece of evidence, each witness, based on how they appreciate po the case itself. No? So, yun po yung panghahawakan namin going to trial. So, whatever they decide on each piece of evidence, syempre, we will have to respect how they will look at it and decide ultimately.
If I may add, I think it would be, speaking, as a prosecutor also the 19th Congress, it would be unfair to say that it was purely political considerations for however which way that the senator judges previously acted. And we just want to restate po siguro na coming into the 20th that we respect the impeachment court and we are fully confident in their own respective fiduciary duty to their being just senator judges, that they will really carry it out with proper discernment. So yes, there might be political color that you may play in the outside, but we trust fully that when they take on their roles as senator judges, they will perform their duties properly.
Also, if you will note in the rules itself of the Senate on impeachment trial, they are actually expected to exhibit political neutrality. So they have to fulfill their duty without unfair discrimination and without regard to political color or affiliation. That is there in the Senate rules itself, political neutrality.
Thank you po.
Thank you, Linesca. Let's go to Jong Manlapas of DZRJ.
Kay kay Representative Lala de Lima po. Alam po ng lahat yung pinagdaanan ninyo under Duterte administration. Sa bilang isa sa mga first prosecutor po, masasabi po ba na payback na ninyo ito sa mga Duterte?
Hindi po. I've been doing my job as a member of this House fairly and without any ill will against anyone. Hindi ko po style yan. Hindi po ako yung nag-exhibit ng vendetta. Ang para sa akin lang po, nakatingin lang po ako lagi sa prinsipyo ng katotohanan at pananagutan. Truth, also justice, and accountability.
Salamat po, ma'am. Kay Congressman Flores po, pasensya na po ha. Sir, tiwala po ba kayo na madidiin ninyo ang si BP Sara sa base sa mga ebidensya ng ilalatag ng prosecutor?
If you base it on what was presented by sa Committee on Justice, yes, I think so. Because wala namang ebidensya to the contrary ang binigay. Diba? That's what we were waiting for. That's what we were hoping for that she would do. Pero wala eh. That's why it would be very difficult not to say that we have enough to proceed with our case.
No, pwede po ba kayo magbigay ng kahit na isa sa mga possibly na madidiin ninyo si BP Sara based doon sa ebidensya?
Well, if you look at all the articles po, lahat po ng ebidensya na nag-gather namin is favorable to the articles of impeachment. Kasi nga, as I said, binigyan siya ng opportunity to present her evidence but she did not appear. So yun ang problema po doon.
Excited na po ba kayo sakaling makita kayo ni BP Sara? Matanong niyo siya?
I guess none of us are like excited just to see her, but we're all willing to perform our constitutional duties. Yan lang po.
Last po para po sa lahat. Hindi po ba kayo na nababahala na baka po mag-reflect sa susunod na eleksyon ng pagiging prosecutor ninyo ng impeachment court?
Hindi po kami nababahala. We are fulfilling our constitutional duty as House prosecutors, as congressmen, as representatives of our constituents. And lahat po kami ay nandito para lang ipakita ang ebidensya laban sa Vice Presidente na nakita naming may pagkakasala. Kaya nga po, naglabas po tayo ng articles of impeachment. Hindi po kami natatakot sa susunod na eleksyon dahil naniniwala po kami na makikita ng taong bayan ang ebidensya, and we believe that the senators themselves will see the evidence, and it is now incumbent upon the senators to fulfill their constitutional duties as well.
Thank you, Jong. Earl Tobias from IBC 13. Please proceed with your questions.
Ayun. Good afternoon po, Honorable Prosecution Panel. First off po, to Prosec Lord Ansuan, sir, You're one of the new faces of the prosecution panel. Paano po kayo nag-prepare? Paano niyo po pinagandaan yung decision ninyo? Given yung mga tanong na rin ng aking co-reporters, the political climate and atmosphere of this topic has been highly tensioned. But you are from Mindanao and you decided to be a prosecutor. How did you prepare for this decision, sir?
Yes, I am a Mindanaoan from Cagayan de Oro, and my being a Mindanaoan is precisely the reason why I take this duty very seriously. Because we're not just talking about the people's money, we're also talking about the taxpayers that Mindanaoans are paying. And I believe that no region, whether it is Luzon, Visayas, or Mindanao, no family, no official should be elevated above the Constitution or even above the investigations of the COA. And we are not here to go against or to move against or for any person. We are here for the process. And if nothing wrong was done, then the process itself will show it. And I think that's what we owe to every Filipino, including Mindanaoans.
Follow up po. Thank you. As Prosec Lawrence Defensor said, malaking kalaban ninyo yung fake news. Sa social media ngayon, ang pinaiikot na naratibo ng ilang mga trolls ay parang pulo-pulo yung nagiging laban na parang Mindanaoan does take a stand behind BP Sara Duterte, and as if yung laban is not about accountability but versusan ng mga pulo. As a Mindanaoan, sir, would you like to debunk that, na yung narrative na pinaiikot na paggaling sa Mindanao, automatic anti-impeachment?
Kaya nga yung pinakamalaking kalaban natin dito sa buong impeachment process ay yung fake news talaga. Because we are talking about accountability here, and accountability does not respect regional bias. So dapat yung totoo ang manaig, and hopefully everyone can come together and decide whether what we are sharing is really news or fake news. Yung pinakauna dyan, check natin yung source ng sinishare natin, kung troll account ba yan or kung totoong media outlet. So I think we should go back to the concern of the prosecutors that one of our biggest enemies here is fake news.
Thank you, Prosec. For Prosec's Defensor, Dilima, Luistro, and Joke na po, I just to collate a heavy legal and a firm stand. Last Senate, they deemed it enough, even they were already convened, to return the articles of impeachment to the House of Representatives. One being the reason is yung petisyon sa Korte Suprema. Ngayong taon po, clearly, nag-convene na ang Senate Impeachment Court, kasado na ang prosecution panel, pero it's also not a secret that the Vice President is still running and seeking forum from the Supreme Court. Pero sinasabi rin po nila na handa silang irespeto ang jurisdiction ng Senado at humarap sa trial. Is this a legally conflicting stand? And dapat po ba sa pre-trial pa lang, kumpirmahin na ng kampo ni BP Sara Duterte kung haharap ba sila sa proseso, irerespeto ang jurisdiction ng Senado, o magpapasaklolo sa Korte Suprema? Thank you po.
Of course, it is the prerogative of the defense team to elevate any issue which they believe consists of constitutional question to the Supreme Court. Nevertheless, even if there are pending petitions in the Supreme Court, this should not hamper or delay the impeachment trial, especially considering that there is no temporary restraining order or injunction issued by the Supreme Court for that matter. That is why earlier I said we commend the impeachment court. We are very much positive that they convened pursuant to the mandate of the Constitution, that is forthwith. Nonetheless, we are trying to solicit the support of our beloved countrymen that what is being mandated to be forthwith is not only the convening. What is being mandated to be forthwith is the trial. And by trial, it means presentation of evidence, presentation of witness, and which will lead to the decision of the impeachment court of either acquittal or conviction. So of course, we understand what happened last time back in the 19th Congress, but we are very much positive. We're hopeful this time that we will immediately proceed to pre-trial as announced already by the impeachment court yesterday, as well as trial, no? So we are looking forward for dates as to when the pre-trial and the trial will be held, as soon as all the responsive pleading, such as the answer from the respondent and the reply from the prosecution, are submitted to the impeachment court. We are adhering to the mandate of the Constitution, which says trial forthwith.
On my end, excited na po akong bumalik sa court. Namimiss ko na yung paglilitis ng kaso. At wala kaming nakikitang sagabal sa trial. The Senate as an impeachment court has already set the pre-trial and the trial of the case, and we will respond accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you po. Last from my end, to Prosec Lawrence Defensor, sir, hi. Kahit po napurnada ng isang buong taon yung impeachment case laban kay VP Sara Duterte, you remained with your stand na yung grave threats pa lang ay enough na for conviction. Pero sir, playing devil's advocate lang, maraming nagpapaugong ng naratibo na hindi naman daw na-consummate yung banta dahil lang ang pagkakalagay daw ng premise, dapat may mangyari munang masama sa vice-presidente bago niya gawin. Pero sir, isn't that a moral disregard and also a legal disregard of the threat that already happened? At paano nyo po titindigan na dito pa lang ay dapat guilty na si VP Sara Duterte, sir?
Abangan nyo na lang sa trial kung paano namin ipipresenta para makumbinsi kita.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Earl. We will now call Gab Lalu from Philippine Daily Inquirer.
Hello po. Yung tanong ko premised on the fact na si VP Sara Duterte noon sabi niya gusto niya ng hearing sa Congress para ma-defend niya na hindi siya pumunta. And then sabi niya before na gusto niya rin ng bloodbath sa Senate pero hindi pa natin nakikita yon kung pupunta siya. Possible po bang mag-proceed yung trial without the Vice President attending or her legal team participating in the trial?
And under the Senate rules, even if the Vice President would opt not to attend, kahit hindi siya mag-attend or kahit hindi siya mag-file ng answer o kahit walang defense team nagdumating, trial will still continue. Those instances will only be considered as an entry of a plea of not guilty. So ulitin natin, kahit hindi dumating ang Vice Presidente, kahit hindi siya mag-file ng answer, kahit hindi dumating yung defense lawyers nila, tutuloy pa rin ang trial. Ang magiging effect lang nitong instances na to, it will be considered as an entry of a plea of not guilty.
So yung mga judges po ang mag-enter parang po sa court proceedings, sila po ang mag-enter ng plea for the Vice President. Ganun po ba yan?
It is deemed an entry of not guilty, but the rule does not say that the senator judges will be the one to make that entry.
Ma'am, on that point, kung magtutuloy yung trial, kasi if I remember correctly, nung proceedings po natin sa House Committee on Justice, parang si Congressman Chua yung nagsabi na kaya naman nag-rule yung committee na may probable cause dahil wala naman prinesentang ebidensya yung defense to counter the evidence presented sa mga complaints. Should it happen na hindi mag-present hindi pumunta si VP Sara and her counsel, does this mean that the senator judges would have no basis to acquit her dahil hindi naman po nagpresenta ng ebidensya?
Well, it still depends on the appreciation and judgment of the senator judges, no? But of course, it is very hard to conceive how you will consider the defense of the respondent Vice President if not a single evidence is being presented, no? Tama ka dun sa pangyayari sa Justice Committee, the threshold is very low. Probable cause lang, which is reasonable justification to be able to proceed to trial. Wala ni isang ebidensya ang naipresenta ng Vice President. As a matter of fact, she and her lawyers did not appear. So, all the evidence of the complainants appear as unrebutted, unquestioned, uncontroverted. And considering that the threshold is only probable cause, of course, it is reasonable to anticipate that there will be a finding of probable cause. Now, with regards to the trial, if they will not be appearing, it will depend really on the appreciation and judgment of the senator judges if the evidence of the prosecution, considering the absence of the evidence of the defense, will be enough for them to render a judgment of conviction.
Pero is it safe to say that VP Sara would put herself at a disadvantage if she would not attend? Kasi ito na yung last chance niya to dispute or refute the evidence.
I believe that it will be disadvantageous for her if she will not be presenting her evidence, because there's already evidence presented by the complainant, and the same evidence will be presented before the impeachment court. If this evidence will continue to be unrebutted, uncontroverted, there is a possibility that the senator judges will be appreciating the evidence in favor of conviction. But of course, as I have said earlier, it will depend entirely on the appreciation and judgment of the senator judges.
So, ma'am, sorry, last question on my end. Is it possible, ibig sabihin po ba possible na ma-acquit pa rin si VP Sara despite the defense panel not presenting any evidence kasi it is up to the senator judges?
As far as we are concerned, the evidence of the prosecution is strong. Pero kung dadating yung sitwasyon na ebidensya lang ng prosecution ang malalatag at walang ebidensyang mailalatag ang defense, perhaps for the reason that they will not appear, that will be an exclusive judgment of the senator judges. But of course, the sovereign Filipino people will be watching. If there is no evidence from the defense and only the evidence of the prosecution are presented, yes, it is an exclusive judgment of the senator judges, but let us all be reminded that the sovereign Filipino people will be watching.
Thank you, Gab. Red Mendoza from Manila Times.
Ma'am, I have 3 questions po, ma'am. Ma'am, I talked to two people, one from Mindanao and one from Luzon. And they said na they hated the impeachment possible vice president. Ayaw nila na, hindi nila boses yung nangyari sa impeachment trial. Some of the Filipinos that voted for you don't agree with what's happening with the impeachment trial. What's your thought po na hindi lahat ng mga bumoto sa inyo or lahat ng constituents ninyo ay pabor sa impeachment trial? And again, 32 million voted for the vice president. Are you scared of a pushback from the 32 million who supported the vice president? Notwithstanding na yung mga sinasabi ng mga ng voting doon sa House ay maraming Mindanaoan daw ang bumoto, which is equivalent daw doon sa population ng bumoto sa kanila. But that is not the case kasi some of the people I've talked to, they said hindi nila gusto yung nangyayari ngayon sa impeachment.
Alam mo kasi what you should remember, this is a constitutional duty. By duty, this is not our choice. This is obligatory on our part to push for this proceeding, no? This is not a question of gusto ba namin o ayaw namin. No. This is a duty and therefore we have no choice but to push forward.
If I may add.
Una ka, ma'am.
Thank you. This duty is bigger than all of us. This duty is enshrined and mandated by no less than the Constitution and actually imposed by the Filipino people. So this is bigger than any one of us, and this is bigger and far more primordial than any personal or political concerns.
Kung may taga Iloilo na hindi pabor sa impeachment at hindi pabor na naging prosecutor ako sa impeachment na ito, paglilingkuran ko pa rin sila habang congressman nila ako. Magkasundo man kami o hindi sa impeachment na ito.
Next question na lang po. Kasi right now po, so far po yung mga observations po ng ilan sa ating mga kababayan sa social media is kayo daw po or most of the congressmen who received or who voted for the impeachment ay naka-receive daw po ng maleta, ng pera, or naka-receive daw po ng 20 million or any amount notwithstanding. These are the people that you na sinasabi din yun po na some of them are trolls. Pero of course, hindi naman lahat sila, yun ang paniwala nila. Yun ang paniniwala nila. How can you combat yung ganitong paniniwala na hindi nyo sinisiraan yung kanilang political or political thinking na hindi kami nagtakatanggap ng ganitong pera, pero hindi kami nakatanggap ng ganitong pera. We did this because we believe in the case.
Una sa lahat, tingin ko hindi na dapat i-dignify yung question kasi it's basically an accusation without basis. Di ba, Red? So, kung may maleta, nasan yung maleta? Kung mayroong 20 million, nasan yung 20 million? So, I don't think that deserves an actual comment from the panel of prosecutors today.
And my last question na lang po. Ano pong end all and be all po nito? I mean, people, sinasabi na nga iba, dapat talunin na lang si Vice President Sara Duterte sa election. I mean, yun nga. I mean, dapat talunin na siya sa election kasi ang end all and be all nito is removal from office. She announced her role or she announced that she will run in 2028 elections, in the 2028 elections. Marami ang nagsasabi na pag nawala si Vice President Sara, a more friendlier Vice President would be appointed. So ano po ang end all and be all nitong impeachment
End
trial
all
na ito?
and be all of this impeachment process is accountability. We owe it to our people. We owe our being elected to our people. We have to show them that we follow the Constitution, that sila ang pinagsisilbihan natin at hindi tayo gumagawa ng pagtataksil sa bayan. So accountability po ang end all and be all nito.
One last follow-up. Pag ang constituent niyo nagtanong na iboboto namin si VP Sara sa election, what are you going to do?
Parang si Boy Abunda.
This is what democratic country is all about. We're free to choose our leaders. But please understand, the 11 prosecutors, we are simply responding to a constitutional duty. As a matter of fact, with all due respect to our constituents, this is not a question of natutuwa ba sila o hindi. Gusto ba nila o hindi. This is a duty which we really have to face.
Thank you.
Matred, for today's last question, we will call on Isaiah Miraflores of Billionario. Isaiah?
Mirafuentes.
Mirafuentes, sorry.
Hi po, good afternoon.
Stand corrected.
Just want to ask a question regarding lang sa rin sa nangyayari sa Senate. Since some senators are saying na possible na i-dismiss nila ng mas maaga yung impeachment, binabantaan nila ng ganon. If ever ba mangyari yun, is there a parang legal remedies ba tayo na gagawin?
I am not aware of any senator who has commented already that they are intending to dismiss the articles of impeachment. As a matter of fact, they convened forthwith. So we are very much positive and we look forward that soon Upon receipt of all the responsive pleadings, we will be appearing before the impeachment court for the purpose of pre-trial and trial.
Alright, thank you, ma'am. Last question, if ever lang, merong masuspend sa mga senador o dahil nga sa mga nangyari this past few days, 16 votes pa rin ba yung kailangan for conviction?
That's correct. Regardless of the absent senators, regardless of whether there will be suspension of senators, the required number of vote is fixed. That is 2/3 of the 24 senators, which means 16, and that is fixed.
Thank you, Isaiah. Sir, sorry po just one last question na lang from, kung okay pa po, ano? From Jonathan Andal of GMA7.
Hello po. Pwede po malaman yung thoughts niyo sa motion on the motion in the Senate na payagan yung remote or online voting on impeachment matters considering absent po si Senator Bato de la Rosa. Ano po ang posisyon niyo doon?
Is this for the legislative process or for the impeachment process?
I believe it's on the impeachment matters or yes ma'am. On
Well, if
impeachment
it
matters.
is for the impeachment process, my personal opinion is the senator judges should be personally present. This is paramount because this is a constitutional mandate. So I believe that they should be present to have a correct appreciation of all the evidence to be presented. And that is including the exercise of his or her right to vote.
Maraming salamat po ulit sa ating House Leaders at House Prosecutors. Of course, kay former Quadcom Chair Robert Ace Barbers at sa mga kasama sa media at maging sa mga technical people ng House Representative for joining us this afternoon. With that, we're concluding our press conference. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat.